Well, that's how you get me invested again. What's up, guys? Game finished like 5 minutes ago, and you know, after the third quarter, I was ready to get back on here, win or lose, because at that point, obviously, I had no idea how the fourth quarter was going to go, and I was prepared to talk about how win or lose that I just felt drained, and I felt like I had lost interest in this season. The the Jimmy Graham injury was obviously the story of the first three quarters of this game. And at that point, I was just like, I felt like all the gas that I had, all the enthusiasm I had for this season kind of dissipated. And I was just like, even if we win this game, even if we make the playoffs, without Jimmy back, without Jimmy in this lineup, our ceiling is just that much lower. And it just feels like we're just waiting for somebody to come execute us. But with what happened today, I gotta say, the way that game ended, the way they played, the way they came up with big plays at the end of the game to win it, I'm back on board. And maybe my fears will be ultimately confirmed because on the Jimmy Graham front, for those of you who didn't see, he seemed to have broken his leg. Nobody hit him. He was trying to catch a pass in the end zone, and his leg landed funny, and he had to be carted off with the air cast. Kind of hope it's a broken leg, because if it's an ACL, that's actually much worse. So hopefully it's something where he can actually come back strong for next year. But at this point, I'm just waiting for the bad news that Jimmy Graham's done for the season. But after that injury, they came back. The offense played their best football of the year. Don't read anything into that. Please do not say that Jimmy Graham was the problem, but um, they played phenomenal football for that last quarter plus, and the best I've seen all year. Maybe the best game I've seen from the offense in the Russell Wilson era outside of, 2 or 3 games. And we're back in this thing. We're back in business. We've currently sitting at the 6th seed, and despite the mounting injury losses of this season, obviously the big one now being Jimmy Graham, I'm assuming he's out for the year. Hopefully not, but it's tough for me to be optimistic when you see what happened out there. I'm still in because they showed me something today. They showed me something that I haven't seen hardly all year. So let's go back to where I was before the last couple of touchdown drives, because most of this day the offense really didn't do much to impress me. In the second quarter, we had our best drive of the season. It was a 80-plus yard drive. We converted 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 16, another 3rd and 10. It was just a great performance by Wilson and the wide receivers. Jimmy Graham, before the injury, was actually having a really awesome game, in my opinion. Made some awesome catches and was doing exactly what we want from Jimmy Graham this season. And that drive was great, but other than that, it was mostly us scoring off of short fields. And that's great. We were scoring touchdowns. We were getting the ball in the end zone. We scored 6 touchdowns on offense today, so that's obviously great. But my problem was when we had to work for something on offense, we weren't getting it done. Long drives, other than that one, which was a really good drive, everything else was off the short field, and I kept waiting for this offense to do something, because there were several points in this game where I just thought, here it goes. Offense goes 3 and out, defense goes back out there. Pittsburgh's offense was racking up the yards the whole game, and I was just thinking to myself, well, here it goes. The game's gonna get away from us here, and it's all gonna be on the offense, not putting together a drive. But the last quarter, I think they redeemed it. They hit a couple of touchdown passes to Doug Baldwin. Before Jimmy Graham went out, he had a pass that's, set the offense up at the 1. Jermaine Kearse, who's been on a milk carton for parts of this season, had one of the best games of his career with the 2 big touchdown catches. Doug Baldwin, the best game he's played in his career, and we needed every bit of it. Breaking away at the end, breaking 2 tackles on his way to an 80-yard touchdown. Wilson, he made some very bad throws in this game, some very foolish throws in this game. He blew a screen pass on a 3rd and 2. He missed open receivers on 3rd and 4s. But as the game went on, he kept getting better and better and better. And at the end of the day, this might have been the best game we've ever seen Wilson play. And again, we needed it all because Rawls had a good first half, fell apart in the second half. Really didn't do much of anything in the second half except score the 1-yard touchdown. And to me, this is what you pay your quarterback $20 million for. And he delivered today, something that we haven't seen that much so far this season. So, yeah, offense, everybody was awesome. Kevin Smith got a catch. A couple of complaints. I still would say the play calling held us back a little bit in this game. The bubble screen on 3rd and 2. There was a couple other bubble screens in this game. It still continues to be a play call that just doesn't do anything for us. The 2-point conversions are, guys, we got to get on top of 2-point conversions because the play call on the Kevin Smith one was a total disaster of a play call. I don't know where that one comes from. The second time, I was actually happy that we ran it, even though we didn't get it. I actually didn't even really care that we didn't pick up the 2-point conversion because I was just glad we ran the ball. So offense, I was getting ready to come on here and rant about how the offense isn't good enough, but they had a really good fourth quarter, so I think they're off the hook. I still say things need to get better. Pittsburgh secondary is very bad. Their pass rush was good early in the game, and then I think it fell apart a little bit as the game went on. So it's not necessarily indicative of anything huge, but it's good. So that's the offense. The defense. You know, they give up over 500 yards of offense. They give up almost 540 yards of offense. And 480 yards passing. Pittsburgh spent most of the game going up and down the field as much as they wanted. They hit a bunch of big plays. Marcus Wheaton, Martavis Bryant. They both had good games, especially Marcus Wheaton. We couldn't stop that guy. He had over 200 yards on us. And I don't know. There are a couple people that could be singled out. I'm going to go the other way on this, though. We gave up 30 points to a Steelers offense that is obviously very good and came in with a very good game plan. Roethlisberger played a really great game. He had a couple of picks, but, you know, both of them were not totally on him. One of them was just the ball slipped out of his hands. The other was Antonio Brown fell down on a go route on Sherman. And honestly, the 540 yards, it looks bad, but 30 points, you can live with 30 points. So the defense, they give up all those yards. They force turnovers, the most we've seen so far this season. 2 picks of Ben Roethlisberger and the pick of Landry Jones at the end. The special teams sniffed out a fake field goal, and I won't put that one on the defense because the special teams unit is out there. Props to the special teams unit for that. Sniffing out the fake field goal attempt. I have no idea why Pittsburgh was even trying that nonsense at that point. Jeremy Lane read the play. Welcome back, Jeremy. I was going to get on here and bitch about that missed tackle on that 3rd down at the end because, you know, it was a simple play to make on D'Angelo Williams, and he just didn't do it, and I was losing my mind when he gave up that 1st down. But first game back, I'll just leave it at that he had a tough time out there, but first game back, he made a big play that helped us score a touchdown, so I'll take that. And other than that, I think most of the guys on the defense did what they could. Sherman played an awesome game. Snead came in for the inactive Kerry Williams, who looks like he's probably done in Seattle, and I thought Snead played awesome. It wasn't perfect. You're not going to be perfect in this against this Steelers offense, but he came up with several big plays, ripping the ball away on deep downfield throws. He had 4 pass deflections in this game. I thought he was awesome. And we may have found our replacement for Byron Maxwell going forward because Snead obviously has played really well so far this season, but we felt nervous about giving him the full-time starting role until I would say now. Now is the time to say he can do it because that was a trial by fire. You're playing one of the best passing offenses in football, and he came up big. Linebackers played all right. There were some problems there. The pass rush. You know, I know that opposing offensive lines they hold us a lot, and we usually don't get those calls. We didn't get any offensive holding calls on the Steelers today, but um, with Bruce Irvin out, I still say that there should have been a little bit of a better pass rush than there was. And if you're going to point the finger at somebody, I think it's got to be the guys in the middle. Jordan Hill. I talked Jordan Hill up earlier this season. I haven't seen him do anything in a month now, maybe more. Atiyah Rubin, he had a good game. He obviously had the fluky interception, and he's more of a run stuffer anyway, so I can't put it on him. DeMarcus Dobbs got hurt. That's a big deal, but we have to get a push up the middle. The interior of our defensive line is giving up too much ground on passing plays, and quarterbacks are just able to step up in the pocket and get hit big plays down the field because our edge rushers get in there sometimes, but it doesn't matter. But they've got a good offense, so I understand that defensive struggles are to be somewhat expected. So as for all the yards we gave up, if I'm going to call anybody out, and I guess I should because we gave up the most yards we ever have in our franchise history, I got to point to it's got to be Cam Chancellor. He made the pick at the end. He made a big play at the end, but he was getting beat a lot in coverage, and he made a lot of mistakes out there. Earl Thomas, who I don't like to call out, he looked like a guy who was still trying to come back from that shoulder injury last season today. Most this season, I haven't really been calling him out. He hasn't been perfect, but I think he's played good. But today, he really struggled, in my opinion. And I'm also going to say Jeremy Lane. He made the big play on special teams. He had a couple good plays on special teams, I think. But the defense was... we threw him out there in the nickelback role, which is his position, because Marcus Burley got hurt. Hopefully that's not a big thing either. And the thing is, he couldn't hold up. He was a part of the problem out there when we were trying to defend Marcus Wheaton. So, yeah, those three guys are three guys I really noticed is kind of struggling out there and were a big part of the reason why we didn't get the yards. And I'd also take a look at this defensive line, just not getting the pressure it needed to. But we made enough big plays, 4 turnovers, and we forced a couple of fumbles that we didn't fall on too. But we did actually force a couple fumbles, and we weren't fortunate enough to get the ball. And I think it all comes out pretty even. I'm okay with the way the defense played today. 30 points, 4 turnovers. You forced a little bit of inefficiency out of the Pittsburgh offense. So, what else is there to say? Again, big shout out to Richard Sherman, his best game of the season. Fully healthy Antonio Brown, playing with his quarterback. Pretty much took Antonio Brown out of the game until near the end when it didn't matter nearly as much. Great game by Sherman. Extra points. We got to get on top of extra points, people. It could have cost us the game today very easily. We got away with it. We got to figure out extra points because it's a continuing thing. Hauschka is kicking the ball too low. Got to figure that out. He's got to get the ball up higher on those extra points. It's hurt us a couple weeks in a row now, and eventually it's going to cost us a game, and I'm going to lose it if it costs us a game. So that's the team. Great win. I still kind of feel like if we don't get Jimmy Graham back this season, and I don't think we will, even when Lynch gets back, because he'll probably be back by the end of the season or maybe the start of the playoffs if we make it, then this offense is going to be the same offense we had last year, just a worse offensive line. And the offense we had last year, yeah, they could do some stuff. They put up 24 points against Carolina. They put up, 28 points against Green Bay, needing overtime. They played all right, but there's no ability to really break a game wide open. We got Tyler Lockett, but he's not involved in the offense as much as he needs to be to have that big of an effect on the game. So if Jimmy Graham is out for the season, which I suspect, maybe that changes. So my hope is that Tyler Lockett can become a game changer at the end of the season, more so than he already is. He had a good game today, but he needs to be more involved. And that's what you got to look forward to over the last 5 weeks of the season without Jimmy, because for all the crap Jimmy has taken so far this season, for his occasionally disappointing play, in my mind, he's been great. I think he's been great, especially in these recent games where he's converting a bunch of third downs. And I haven't had a problem with the way Jimmy's played, except for maybe the Arizona game all season. So yeah, it's a tough loss with Jimmy, but big win. Back above 500, and we got another huge game next week. So this video is already too long. I'll cut it short here, but great game. Just got to make it mean something later.